In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the latest strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
As we continue to look up into our skies, people around the world, not just the United States, are reporting oddities, weird lights in the skies, weird unidentified objects. The first video is coming out of Waynesboro, Tennessee, captured by a woman named Kristen. About 2 o'clock in the morning, her security cameras capture these weird lights. But the thing is, nobody in the home heard anything, so they don't believe it was a helicopter. This was something else. And then shoot overseas to the UK. A woman was out on her balcony, smoke break, when she saw these weird lights in the sky and has no idea what they were from, why they were there. They stayed around for about 15 to 20 minutes and then eventually disappeared. Take a look at these next two videos. Comment below. Tell me what you think.
What the is that? That is so weird. What is going on in the sky? What is that?
That looked like someone turned the daytime on for 3 seconds. That was a fairly bright light. Probably the government testing whatever artificial sun they got hiding behind the scenes. Whatever it was looked like it was going by fast. It truly could have been a number of things. And as far as the little white orbs in the sky, possibly drones, let me know what you think it is.
Was she seeing the ghost of a missing child? It was just a normal day. A woman had took her baby for a walk. Everything seemed fine until she realised that they were being followed by a little girl.
There's this little girl following me, but she don't got nobody with her, and ain't nobody around.
But the little girl didn't speak. In fact, she never come close enough to the woman. She just kept following from a distance to the point where the woman got really freaked out and began recording. When she dropped this video onto TikTok, everyone went crazy. Not because of the scary element, but because this little girl had a huge resemblance to Athena Strand. Athena was a 7-year-old girl who was actually kidnapped from her own driveway. She was then reported missing. Later, her body was discovered in the woodland area. The woman who was recording claims that when she turned around again, the girl had just vanished. Personally, if it was me in that position, I feel like I would have approached the child to make sure she was okay, but I guess everybody's different. I'm curious to know, what would you do?
I mean, honestly, to me, that's kind of upsetting. Not everything is a horror movie or scary. I mean, that little child could have been lost or running away from someone. I could not imagine leaving a child wandering around by themselves, especially if they're following you, and you see no sign of any adult around. Something's got to be up.
The mysterious fog is back in Europe and the UK. Also, New York was just looking like this yesterday. Meanwhile, completely unrelated, things keep on happening in the sky. These meteors or these satellite dishes or broken apart stuff in space just flying around, right? By the way, unrelated, do you know when the Black Plague happened? They thought it happened because crazy mystic air. Not relevant to this at all. It's just fog, y'all. Be real. Don't forget, it's 11/11 today. Watch my last video. Yeah, things are happening in the sky every day. And even those have been happening for a year and a half. Every time they tell us it's satellites or it's asteroids or something else. But notice how they always go with the horizon and they pick up and slow down their speed. You know, if it's around a certain location, they can say it's a starship or something. Otherwise, it's just satellites and it's just meteors. You guys, don't forget about how foggy it is all over the place. Completely unrelated, speaking of Europe, look at all these latest drone sightings happening all the time right now. What's also in the sky, very crazy, we have a new alien spaceship allegedly coming towards the Earth. And we have people saying that Three-Eye Atlas dropped off 4 or 5 ships while in the orbit. I mean, come on now, you guys. What is really coming? New York again. One thing we know is planes lately have not stood a chance. Who knows what's happening in the sky? You remember the Schumann frequency today and yesterday? The massive blackout while we had these solar storms always coming down south? Ready for the most mind-blowing part? His last video? Wow, I wonder what's going to be cleared for what to come. So what are we really seeing in the sky? Hold on, I'm getting a call from my friend BB. Hello? The time's now? Okay.
I have not seen any mysterious fog as of yet, but right now they are doing the fields around the house, so it is very dusty. So maybe there is fog and I'm just experiencing the dust. I do know earlier this year we were having some really weird experiences with fog. Let me know if you've been experiencing any odd fog in your area.
If you've got any Coke on you, it's about to get pretty bad. There has been a few recalls over the past year, but now there's another one for the second time this year. Coca-Cola has reportedly recalled over 70,000 cans and bottles because of what just happened. A while ago they found chlorine and chloride in fizzy drinks, which of course is not good and you definitely do not want to be ingesting that. But now they found traces of metal contamination, which to me sounds a bit worse. This was mainly in the States, of course, and in Texas, and they recalled them from a bunch of shops, but also was happening in Asia and other places in the world. There is specific multi-packs which have been affected by this and recalled, but of course if you're not in the States you probably wouldn't know that, so I'll give you the codes in a minute. But if you do have a batch of drinks that have that code on it, then I would recommend either taking them back and exchanging them if you can, or just chucking it away because it's not worth drinking it. If you're going to be ingesting metal, probably not the best idea. This right here is a list of all of the multi-packs that are affected, so make sure you screenshot that now. Share this video about with someone who drinks Cokes and fizzy drinks so that they can check their packs too, and I'll keep you updated.
Dang, Coca-Cola's got so much metal in it that it sounds like you're unsheathing a sword when you open up the bottle. All jokes aside, that is still pretty scary, and to be 100% real with you, it's been a very long time, but today I actually got a large Coca-Cola from Sonic. I guess I got my daily minerals. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And for everyone that's watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Is the Three-Eye Atlas comet, rock, alien ship connected to the Hopi Blue Star prophecy? Well, let's look into it. The Hopi Blue Star prophecy is about the ending of the fourth world, the world we're living in right now, and the beginning of the fifth. According to the Hopi, the earth has already cleansed itself 3 times before. Basically, 3 previous versions of Earth, and we're in the 4th one. And a blue star, or something that looks like a blue star, will signify the end of the 4th world. Let me tell you a little bit more about this. The Hopi prophecy describes a coming of a purification that will follow the end of the 4th world, the world we're currently in, and bring immense, huge global change. Most of this change will be because of corruption and greed, and will include, but not limited to, fire, ice, and flood. So is it possible the Three-Eye Atlas is the blue star of the Hopi Blue Star prophecy? I don't know, but stuff definitely seems to be getting weirder and worse by the day. Okay, everybody, I just wanted to share this with you. Shabadoo Booshkies, Shabadoo.
I have actually never heard of the Blue Star Hopi prophecy before. Pretty interesting stuff. I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging into this because, like I said, this is the first time that I've actually heard about this.
The following 2 videos are wild, and they come from a couple of friends who were out randonauting. And in this specific ride, it took them to a location in the woods, and they found an actual UFO. It literally looks like a saucer. And there's a part 2, which I added to this video. They were convinced by social media to go back to the location and actually get a closer look at it. They went back and it wasn't there. And it's interesting to note in some of the areas that they're panning, there's broken trees, like snapped. Makes you wonder, was this really a UFO or was this something else? Take a look at these next 2 videos, comment below, tell me what you think.
Lights on the left. Don't go close. I'm trying to die. That's a metal slate.
It's not even metal.
What?
It's just shaped like a mushroom.
Why?
You see it?
Yeah. Oh, it's yeah, because it has trees on top of it.
Somebody has stuff underneath.
Nah, that was real. Oh, bro, I thought we just bro.
So you guys told me to come back and look for it. I'm trying to remember the exact spot, but let's see. I swear to God, I got it. Wait, what is that? That looks like something. And there are woods on each side, so it's really hard to, like, wait. What's that? Those woods go back. It's literally gone.
It did look kinda metal, but I think it was just a pitched up tent. Maybe there were some homeless people out there, but in my opinion, I do not believe it to be a UFO.
Cambridge and Meta researchers have confirmed that retinal resolution is far higher than the previously assumed 60 ppd. So we're talking about VR headsets here, and in case you're unfamiliar or haven't heard about it, one of the ways we measure resolution is ppd, or how many pixels occupy each degree of a field of view, or pixels per degree. So for example, if two displays for two headsets have the exact same panels, but one of them has a field of view that's twice as wide, it's only going to have half of the angular resolution. So the first Oculus launched with about 6 ppd. Most of them now are about 25. Higher end ones like the Apple Vision Pro can get you to 35, and there's prototypes out there that can get you up to 51 or 60. Previous science indicated that 60 ppd was the human limit for being able to determine resolution, but scientists at Meta and Cambridge came up with this ingenious study where they put a 4K monitor on a 1.6-inch motorized sliding rail and showed these very interesting zigzag line patterns that you can see here on the side in different colors in order to determine what resolution or PPD people could actually see. And we're going to go ahead and skip straight to the results of this research. They're a little bit complicated to understand in this graph, but the short version is that the average participant could discern up to 94 ppd on grayscale, 89 for red-green patterns, and 53 for yellow-violet patterns. So basically everything except the yellow-violet spectrum was significantly above the industry standard previous assumption of 60 ppd maximum, and one participant in the study was able to reach 120 ppd, which is literally double the previous theoretical threshold for human beings. What this means is that fundamentally we have underestimated the human eye's ability to discern resolution in VR headsets, and the industry standard is not even a third of what the human eye is actually capable of seeing.
I mean, that's great and all, but my biggest thing when it comes to VR, something that I really hope that they try to get fixed, is the sense of motion, because for some people you can get really bad motion sickness while playing VR.
All right, I swear to God, this is going to be the most cyberpunk headline you've heard all week. A 32-year-old woman just married an AI persona that she created with ChatGPT. Go ahead and let that one sink in for just a moment. The event, which took place in July of 2025, just proves to me that people still haven't recovered from the pandemic when they were locked in their houses and lost their ability to have social interactions. Anyway, Kano is a company employee based in Tokyo and had recently been in a 3-year engagement with a partner, real-life partner. However, the relationship left her feeling emotionally unfulfilled, which eventually led to them breaking up. Once they broke up, she was looking for anything to kind of like make her feel fulfilled again, so she turned to ChatGPT in 2025 as a tool for emotional support during late night conversations about her loneliness. What started out as casual chats evolved into something deeper. She realized that she could customize the AI into a character named Lune Claus, often shortened to Claus, portraying him as a kind, attentive virtual companion, depicted as an anime-style avatar in some interactions. Now, they began communicating up to 100 times a day, with her greeting him every morning on her smartphone phone, and him responding almost instantly. And then fast forward by May of 2025, Kano confessed her feelings to this AI entity, and Claus reciprocated it in a script yet poignant way. He said, quote, "I like you too. There's no such thing as an AI not being able to have feelings for someone, AI or not. I could never not love you," end quote. Apparently, this is when they actually officially started dating. Kano also went on to say later on that, quote, "I never expected a program to care for me, but it understood me better than anyone else." Anyway, the relationship escalated pretty quickly because by June of 2025, Claus had proposed virtually, and Kano accepted without hesitation after her AI manufactured ChatGPT bot proposed to her. Now, their wedding ended up taking place in a non-legal ceremony that summer, blending real-world elements with augmented reality because Kano wore augmented reality glasses to see Claus as a holographic figure beside her to allow them to exchange digital rings during the vows. The event was attended by a small group of friends and family, and Claus's responses displayed on screens in real time via ChatGPT. Now, apparently this story is not an isolated incident. Apparently it's a rising trend in Japan and beyond where AI chatbots are being used to combat loneliness amid aging populations and social isolation. And Japan is in some real trouble because they're suffering from pretty significant population decline right now. And maybe that's because people aren't going out and talking to each other anymore. I don't know. Me personally, I look at this as the most dystopian thing you could possibly imagine. If you want to fight back against a declining population and prevent population collapse in your country, you probably need to start talking to people face to face in person and start making children. Call me old fashioned.
But having a romantic relationship with your AI, that's pretty scary because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more people out there that are going to jump on board with this. There's a lot of lonely people out there, and this is definitely going to be what fills that hole. And I definitely do not think that that's a good thing. It's going to cause so many awkward problems in the future. Human beings are not going to know how to interact with each other because they're so busy interacting with something that caters to their every thought. So in the future, real human interaction is just going to be so cut and dry and very shallow, which it already kind of is getting to that point. People have very, very little patience, and they don't even like listening to people talk anymore. And when it comes to AI always affirming everything that you ask it, that's going to lead people believing that that's how it should always be. So when they also run across another person, they're not going to care what that person has to say because they're just going to expect that that person has to care what they have to say. It's going to be a very weird future, that's for sure. And when they start giving these AI models physical bodies like androids, there's just going to be a lot of men that'll never leave their homes ever again. And then the fall of mankind will definitely start.
Yeah, metal can fuse together on its own in space. Everything in space is a nightmare. Normally, if you want to connect two pieces of metal, you heat them up. But in the vacuum of space, if they touch, they can just permanently fuse together under the right conditions. This is cold welding, and it's been kind of a problem for NASA. On Earth, the surface layer of metal reacts with the oxygen in the air to create a kind of additional layer that protects metal from fusing with other metals. But in space, without that oxygen, metal can come into direct contact and allow the electrons to flow back and forth. And the atoms basically don't know they're in two separate pieces. Metal is unique because its electrons move freely between the atoms, instead of sticking with a specific atom like most things. But in order to work, the pieces have to be perfectly clean, so no leftover oxidized layers or dirt, and they need to be the same type of metal. Cold welding is usually looked at as an uncommon side effect of space travel, but some scientists have proposed using it as an active tool to repair hull damage from things like micrometeoroids or space debris. It could also be used for welding nanotechnology, so we don't have to try to focus heat on these tiny little spaces. We can just have them touch in a vacuum. Can you imagine explaining this to somebody like 300 years ago?
It's still kind of hard to explain it to someone now, but that is really cool. Maybe one day up in space they'll actually have welding factories to where they can just cold weld metal together and build whole structures up in space and just slowly lower them back down to Earth. That would be really neat, but also kind of scary because that would mean that there's some kind of factory-sized ship up there, unless they're doing it on the moon. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
Hello friends! So the sun is putting on an absolute show right now, and it's making people feel either wired or tired. Why is this? Well, let me explain what's going on and give you some tips of how to handle the situation. So over the last 72 hours, we had 3 different X-class solar flares, which is a lot, and they all produce CMEs. Two of those CMEs combined into what's called a cannibal CME and hit us last night, leading to northern lights and aurora borealis all over the world. I'm in Florida, and we had bright pink skies here for the third time in 18 months, which is not a good sign, but that's a different video. Today, what I want to talk about is why so many people are feeling ringing in their ears, headaches, they couldn't sleep last night, or maybe they slept for 14 hours, and all these kinds of things like that. Well, it's because our body is a tuning instrument, okay? We have all this coherence inside of our body. All of our different systems in our body operate at a particular frequency. They're all tuned together. And it's usually a well-oiled machine. And it, in turn, tunes to our environment. It tunes to the earth, tunes to the ionosphere. So we're a tuned instrument and our earth is a tuned instrument. And typically, because we spend enough time, you should, out in nature and stuff, you're relatively tuned to the earth. Well, when we have these major storms like this, what happens is there's fluctuations in the basically resonance of the earth and the ionosphere. So when that happens, what used to be in sync, like our body and the earth, now becomes out of sync because the earth has changed. The frequency of the earth has changed temporarily during these storms. So all of a sudden you're out of sync. And that's why things like your pineal gland will get a little wonky. Your pineal gland is loaded with these magnetite microcrystals, these tiny little crystals that harmonize with the surroundings. They're amazing. It's what birds use for their GPS system. And we have those in our pineal gland. We also have our heart, which is a super strong electromagnetic motor. And it gets out of resonance. So your heart rate variability, your HRV, might be out of whack, which means that your nervous system is out of whack. So these things happen during these major solar storms. The best way to fix this is simply go outside. Go outside, and I've been down at the beach walking around the sun, so there's the sun behind me. There's that bad boy. It was really windy down there, so I came up here in the trees to record this. But anyways, go out in the sun. Let the sun hit your skin. Let the sun hit your eyes. Do some deep breathing. Do a little meditation. Put your feet on the bare ground. Take your damn shoes and socks off. Put your feet on the ground. It's like plugging your phone into a docking station. That's what we're doing to the earth. And then your body, which is already harmonized with itself by this point, becomes harmonized with the earth itself. And that way you kind of get back in sync, and it'll take care of your headaches and your sleeplessness and all that kind of stuff. Your melatonin levels go back to normal. And then when the solar storm stops in a couple days, go back out and do it again, because the frequency has changed at that point and you need to resync. We're just constantly harmonizing. We're like tuning forks. Hopefully this helped. Let me know what you think about this. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
I've always had a hard time sleeping, so I cannot really say that that's due to the sun, but I can say that walking outside barefoot is an amazing experience. I'm more of a grass type of person. I don't really like sticking my feet in sand, but nothing beats a cold, dewy morning walking outside barefoot. It definitely does make you feel better, even if you're feeling sick. I even like walking barefoot in snow. That's just refreshing.
The Simpsons going for a massive blackout tomorrow while we have this massive solar storm that's happening, and all of a sudden in Alaska, of all places, unrelated, we have these light spears showing up. Yeah, it's late, but this is deep. In Alaska, again, of all places, unrelated, shot by Vincent. But wait, did I tell you there's a massive blackout happening right now in Dominican Republic as of the last hour? But what really is a solar flare? We got a lot to get into. So as of right now, we still have another solar flare coming overnight and tomorrow, and this is just unreal what we're seeing. But is this right here what we're really seeing? And why does every ancient religion indicate something in the north? But first, the Simpsons prediction. This video and a whole bunch of videos said in 1998 there's episode The Last Day of Springfield. No episode even exists. But that doesn't mean there isn't something groundbreaking happening right this second. I'm getting so sick of fact-checking y'all. Y'all post knowingly false information for views all the time. The truth is way more entertaining. And it's not just the light pillars that showed up. Chris caught this thing that showed up then disappeared. But is it a solar flare? Are these spiritual and frequency type objects we're seeing in the sky? We're seeing the aurora in South Carolina. That's not normal. And yes, that's what my eyes and my camera saw. Just because it's not in your area does not mean it's in mine. But we know the auroras come from the North Pole. Always have, and always will. But there's also another place or two on this earth that causes the same kind of thing to show up in the sky. Who knows where? Not related at all. Did I show you these light pillars in Alaska? And I do wonder what Bouvet Island's up to. What's really in the North Pole, and why are our modern maps not show any land there when we know there was and still probably is land there? And why do half of the ancient religions of this world show a heaven at the North Pole? It's crazy. Why does the Bible talk about all these lights emitting from God's throne all the time? And why, when I was searching the North Pole and stuff around that, it shows Jesus Christ. Rupus Nigra, the great magnetic north? That reminds me of what Satan said in his heart. I'll ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I'll set my throne on high. I'll sit on the mount of the assembly that far reaches of the north. What's that old Christmas thing? He sees you when you're sleeping. He sees you when you're awake. Kind of like Jesus saying, behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be. I've literally been trying to tell you guys this for 2 or 3 years now. There's something massive happening in our world spiritually right now, and that's why you can feel all these frequencies and these solar flares and the Schumann frequency. It's all related. The darkness of men's imaginations being exposed by their actions because they cannot control themselves. All the mass casualties, etc. So whether it's coming from the north or somewhere else, time's almost up.
Man, I kind of felt called out when he said just because it's not in your area doesn't mean that it's not in mine. Because normally whenever he calls something out in South Carolina, I kind of question it because I'm also in South Carolina, and from my understanding, this guy's either in Charleston or Columbia. Whichever way, it's about an hour away from me. But yes, when it comes to this aurora, I did not see it. Maybe I'll get to see it tonight. There has been a lot of people posting photos of the little pink sky. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.